What's up, A to Z Sports here live on this Monday. Zach, we are going to have a busy week and a big Monday show reacting to the Titans 2023 draft class, 6 picks in the books over the weekend. And Ran Carthon did it for the first time as Titans GM, and he made a major splash that shook up the entire NFL draft class as the Titans traded up on Friday night in the second round to draft Kentucky quarterback Will Levis at 33 overall. And it feels like, based on the reaction we've gotten over the weekend, this is going to polarize and split up the fan base to an extent. So we'll discuss a lot about Will Levis. We'll talk about and hear from Ran Carthon about what they saw in Will Levis, why they drafted Will Levis where they did. I've got an opinion on Will Levis that I'm going to get Zach's thoughts on. And Zach, we haven't talked to you in a bit because you were in Kansas City all draft weekend, getting a lot of great content with our guy Jake Evans of our social media team for our entire A to Z NFL network. And so I want to hear your thoughts on the Titans new quarterback Will Levis. And so we'll discuss all of it. It's also Monday, which means an Ask Me Anything discussion. We'll see what Zach has in store for that later on. But man, let's get this thing rocking and rolling here on a Monday. This is always one of my most favorite shows of the year, the Monday following the NFL draft. And happy May, everybody. Welcome in, Zach.
Yeah, and follow Roy's advice and share the show. We got a ton to talk about. Kansas City was it was a wild weekend. It was surprising how big the draft was in Kansas City. And I'm talking about like the number of people, the square footage of what the NFL and filled for honestly the first 2 days. Pretty impressive. The stage was massive. So that was a great experience by the NFL and what they put on. And it shook a lot of things up, not only, in Kansas City, but all across the country on where the picks actually happened, what players went to what teams. So we're going to dive into that. And we have a Will Levis themed Ask Me Anything question.
Ooh.
So, get prepared. We're going to have a great show on this Monday. This is a reaction Monday. Everybody wants to react, and this is the place to do it. So we welcome everybody in. We do ask you guys to share the show. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. Like the show before you go. That's what we always say. And share the show on Facebook. We will tweet out link by link our YouTube page for segment by segment on our Twitter feed at A to Z Sports. Give us a follow there. It's always a great follow if you are a Titans fan, especially in and around the draft months. We've got coverage, minicamp coverage, rookie minicamp coverage. So follow us there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and on Facebook. I just did it. Roy just did it. Everybody just did it. Share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen. Share out of public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing on this show. We've got a big show in store. More people are going to be piling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So let's get this party started on Draft Monday.
Yep, let's do it. And Kenneth says KC brought it. So, Zach, you had some company there in Kansas City for the NFL draft.
A lot of Mahomes jerseys.
That's what Kenneth said. The place was nuts. Chiefs fans everywhere. All right, guys, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network. Going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter timeline, and hit us up on Instagram and TikTok for more great Titans coverage. We got to thank our sponsors because they truly make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, better coverage rates and service. Learn more about a health plan for you, fbhp.com/ATOZ. Aura, who is all about keeping you safe online. You can use our link, aura.com/ATOZ. That's AURA.com/ATOZ for a 2-week free trial to keep you safe on the internet. And Zach, another brand new sponsor we'd like to introduce today, Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer located in Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Visit them online at Krebs with a K. That's KrebsKubota.com. So, Zach, we're excited to have Krebs Kubota on here. We'll talk more about them and start our relationship this week as we flip the calendar to May, and the Titans flip the calendar to OTAs and mini camps and practices this month as well, which will now include the 6 new draft picks that Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel made over the weekend in the NFL draft. We talked Friday morning, Sam and I did, about Peter Skoronski, the offensive lineman out of Northwestern, had a great conversation about him. Then round 2 is where it got spicy because Will Levis in a trade up to 33 from Kentucky. So there's another quarterback in the class to go along with running back Tyjae Spears in the 3rd round. And then on Saturday, adding tight end Josh Wiley, offensive lineman Jalen Duncan from Maryland, and then a local kid. Speaking of Wilson County Hyundai, Wilson Central's own Colton Dowell, a wide receiver out of UT Martin. So for the 2nd straight year, the Titans draft a 615 kid there, and Theo Jackson last year, Colton Dowell this year. Hopefully for Colton Dowell, it turns out better than Theo's did. But Zach, it was a busy weekend, and the talk of the draft Thursday night, I'm sure while you were in Kansas City, was about Will Levis, who was on our TV screens constantly throughout the draft, sitting in that green room and not getting selected through 31 picks. But he went home to Connecticut, and the Titans on day 2 traded up just the 2nd pick in the 3rd round with the Arizona Cardinals. We talked a lot about the Titans trading up with the Cardinals for a quarterback on Thursday, but they did it on Friday instead.
The Tennessee Titans select Will Levis.
A lot of emotion there from Will Levis. Whatever you think about the quarterback, and we've said a lot of things and are going to say a lot of things about Will Levis, really cool reaction to see him having his NFL dreams come true, getting drafted there in his home in Connecticut after he left Kansas City on Friday midday. Zach, before we dive deeper into this, what was it like in Kansas City when the Titans drafted Will Levis right there at 33 overall?
Well, so night 1, as you said, see, I did not feel the Will Levis drama as much,
right?
Because, that's ESPN and NFL Network, whatever network you watched the draft on. They were covering him. I was on the draft floor. So they don't play those feeds. It is pick by pick. Then they've got different, they got a house band, they got fans drinking. I mean, it's a party plaza. It is a very cool experience when you're on the ground floor, but you are away from all of like the media noise. So I had no idea. I mean, obviously I was tracking Levis, tracking to see who the Titans picked, tracking to see all of the picks as those players, went through. They had there's a tunnel, they put their hat on and they open the door and they come out and give, Goodell a huge bear hug. But I didn't feel as much as the Levis drama day 1, but you could definitely feel it day 2 because you had all day leading up to the 2nd round of quarterback. Where is Will Levis going to go? And then there was a lot of talk in and around the draft about Hendon Hooker. Could he go above Will Levis and shock really the world in that sense? Then the rumors started to fly that the Titans were trying to trade up in round 1. They wanted him in round 2. And then there you had it. Will Levis, I think to say this, the thing that was disappointing for A to Z Sports is Will Levis left. Yeah. He didn't stay. So I was going to have the opportunity to interview him.
Oh, really?
Because he was at the draft and they have media members able to go and actually ask questions. So that would have been ideal, but Levis left after day 1 because he didn't want to stick around, which it's justified. He knew that he would be the only person. I mean, the camera was on him all night 1. It would have been on him at least for the short term leading up to the draft and through picks 1 and then 2, but he didn't get that payoff. He flew back home. But that video, you could see the emotion and the sigh of relief.
Oh, no doubt. He also did say that they had previously planned a massive family gathering for a party at their home in Connecticut on Saturday because he was expecting to be picked on Thursday, go do his duties for his new team, the press conference, the media stuff on Friday, then go back home to Connecticut to have that party on Saturday. So he said that if he didn't leave Friday, then he wouldn't get back in time for the party that all of his family and friends were going to be at. So that was another reason on why he went and left Kansas City. So Ran Carthon was asked about why he drafted Will Levis. So we'll get to a couple Ran Carthon videos about Will Levis being the Titans pick at 33 overall here in a second. Some interesting comments that Ran had to say, and I disagree with one of them pretty strongly. So we'll hear from the Titans GM in a second. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone & Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know where to go and who to trust. And Will Levis has been dealing with injuries this past season quite a bit at Kentucky, and we're going to work on a Doc Talk segment about the toe injury and what that was and how it impacted his play and what it can be like if Will Levis is completely healthy, because the Bone & Joint Institute has all the experts right there to make us smarter and to keep us healthier and to help us get back from that injury. So check them out right there in Franklin, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. We love BetMGM. They drive a ton of traffic and a ton of money into your pocketbook. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. And the best part is, if you use that promo code, you get up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Download BetMGM today.
All right, Zach. So Ran Carthon moved up from 41 to 33. We talked Friday night about what the Titans gave up in the trade. Really, they swapped a few picks in this draft, and then they gave up their third-round pick in 2024's draft. So that's what it took to jump up 8 spots from 41 to 33 to go get Will Levis. And that's exactly what Ran Carthon was asked about, the trade and what that means about Will Levis. So let's go to the Titans' new GM.
With Levis being available at 11 and you guys didn't take him, but then trading up to get him, was that just a value perspective, or like is that someone that you earmarked as your quarterback in the future?
It's a value thing. Again, he's a player that, you know, had we wanted to choose him at 11, we most certainly could have. Like we talked about last night, didn't expect for, you know, Peter to be there. And he was a guy that we, you know, highly coveted. So we were able to make that move and, you know, happy that we were able to move up, you know, to get a player like Will. So, again, just playing the board. We were just talking on the way here. It's we're playing the board game. We're rolling the dice and playing the board. So that's pretty much.
Had Peter not been there, how high was Will at that point on your board?
I mean, had Peter not been there, you know, Will was amongst the conversation. So that's really all I can give on that right now.
All right, so there's Ran Carthon there. It was a value thing. So Tron Davenport asking a good question, because that was my curiosity of why Will Levis and why trading up. If you passed on him at 11, you know, why trade up at 33? And Peter Skoronski being the pick. We'll talk about him throughout the week too. But Zach, what's your reaction on Ran Carthon there?
Well, there's a lot of nuance to this draft, right?
Yeah.
The rumors, and full disclosure for everybody listening, you know, this is Monday. We got Tuesday, we got Wednesday, we got Thursday, and we got Friday. There is a ton of baggage to unpack here, right? We hadn't even really talked about the first round pick, hadn't talked about the possibility of CJ Stroud and the Texans, hadn't talked about the AFC South as a whole and the other quarterbacks. So we're taking this one day at a time. As far as Levis, and we will grade Ran Carthon presumably tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's in our plans. We'll ask everybody else to grade him tomorrow. But for Levis, you know, I think what we're learning a lot about Ran's process.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even say Mike Vrabel is learning a lot about Ran's process. But at the end of the day, Austin, Amy Adams Strunk and the Titans ownership, they interviewed Ran, and Mike Vrabel did, but the decision makers hired Ran Carthon for his process and his decision making as general manager.
And evaluation, right?
And evaluation, right? And he has the history of all of that to be hired as a general manager. If he didn't, he wouldn't have been hired. So I think he's maneuvering through this. There's value, there's playing the board, there's analytics, there's gut instinct, there's position of need, like there's best player available. There's so many different things that you have to weigh when you are a football team. Also, where you pick and the state of your franchise. are you building a stadium that you're going to launch in 2027? There are so many different factors. And then you've got the owner sitting in the war room when you decide, listening to your conversation. Amy doesn't just leave the room and then come back like when the pick is made to be on television. That's not how it works. So the war room is a war room where it's open discussion, but ultimately you've got collaboration, but you also have a final say. And I think that Ran Carthon was trying, and he said a lot in his press conferences over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But there he's explaining a little bit of the process of why Levis, when they did draft Levis.
Yeah, and there is a lot of spice happening in the chat about this pick, and we haven't even asked you guys the question yet. But the word value that Teron asked Ran Carthon about, and he mentioned that the Will Levis pick was about the value that they got at 33, and I'm curious if Ran would have used the value word if Teron didn't use the value word in his question, right? Also, you heard Ran Carthon say roll the dice. That was the first time, I believe, he used the term roll the dice over the weekend, where he said it several times. So, Zach, there's a lot there. I'm going to come back to the value aspect of it here later on in the show once we get the chat more involved about Will Levis and how we feel about it. But Ran Carthon was also asked by Arsene Phelan, what did they see in Will Levis in the 30 visit, where Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel both put a ton of value into a 30 visit in learning the player?
Ran, you talk about, bringing these QBs in for top 30 visits, getting them in front of you, and really diving into the person that the quarterback is. What did you see in Will when he came into this building that gives you guys confidence in moving up to grab him?
Will's a diligent worker, extremely smart, extremely bright, puts a lot of the time in, to be a good quarterback. So you appreciate, his ability to pick up concepts and things quickly. And just who he is, he's hardwired, he's tough. And his most recent offensive coordinator, Rich Scangarello, I had experience with in San Francisco, so kind of knew how he operated within that system. And then when we brought him here, our coaches and our scouting staff, we had good interactions with him, so it just, made it easy for us.
They brought him in and they had familiarity. They had their Kevin Bacon connections, and they were able to do some back channeling and work done on Will Levis there too. So that it is, I think it is important to know, especially at the quarterback, of bringing that person in here, getting to know them over a whole day on your turf, as well as going on his turf at his pro day, plus the combine, plus all these other opportunities to talk to a quarterback before drafting.
That video is the most important video. That tells me why they did what they did when they did. Because when you get to know somebody, if you've ever gone through an interview process for a job, whether you are the person interviewing or you are being interviewed, what you say and do and how you express yourself is much, much more important than what is on a damn sheet of paper. It is. And those are just the facts. A to Z Sports, we don't hire on a damn sheet of paper. I'll tell you that. We hire based on how you interact, how you answer questions. And the Titans, and I believe really good companies, and the NFL franchise, you can criticize them all they want. They're $1 billion business. They got to make some really tough decisions based on people. What did we learn about Isaiah Wilson when that didn't happen as much as it should have, right?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to lie to somebody through what we're, through a camera lens, a Zoom meeting, than it is to do it in person.
And there is a technique to that when you are on Zoom, but there's also a technique when you actually get in the building. And I think how they spoke of Will Levis, I think I connected the dots on the why. I stopped questioning a little bit why they did what they did, because now you got to go do your research on Will Levis, like kind of understand what, as much as we can, right? We don't get an opportunity, not yet at least, to talk to him in person, to ask him questions, to see how he answers and reacts, his facial expressions, his tone, all of that stuff. That's what they got an experience to do. And I think it aligned. I think first and foremost, it aligned with how Mike Vrabel looks at guys, the passion, the just want and the drive. And then you also have this is a big caveat, the chip on Will Levis's shoulder. He is that type of person that I feel like, at least perception is, I'm going to take that personally and I'm going to try to ram it down your throat because I'm a competitor. He has that open competitiveness, in my opinion. Now, will that translate to the field? I don't think that's not what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
We're saying, what did they get to know him and how did they get to know him to feel comfortable? And how does that align with what they saw on tape, on film, on the field?
Sure. And so Will Levis was asked, is this going to be a chip on your shoulder? Are you going to use that as extra motivation? And he downplayed it. He was like, going first overall or 33rd overall is not going to change how I approach my work ethic. My work ethic is my work ethic. But I think when we look at this video again, you can see the competitive nature that he's got.
The Tennessee Titans select Will Levis.
Please see that. The guy's got some fire when a quarterback reacts like that after an emotional 24 hours or so. All right, Zach, I've got a lot to say, and I'm sure you've got a lot more to say. The chat has been saying a lot of things, a lot of infighting with the chat. So do you have some? We got some super chats we're going to get to here in a second, and also going to ask this question here: are you in or out on the Titans drafting QB Will Levis 33rd overall? Are you in or out on the Titans drafting Will Levis 33rd overall? Zach, we're going to start with those super chats here in a second, but do want to welcome officially to the show our brand new sponsor, Krebs Kubota. Krebs Kubota is Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer with a convenient location in Columbia, also in Franklin and Murfreesboro. Krebs is an elite Kubota dealer and has served the community in Middle Tennessee for now over 18 years. They sell, service, and supply parts for the best equipment in the industry and has a large selection of inventory in stock at all three of those locations right now. Krebs Kubota believes in customer satisfaction and is rooted in outstanding parts and service department. It is their goal to have the best in parts and service department in the industry, which stands behind the best equipment in the industry with Krebs Kubota. Visit them online at KrebsKubota.com.
A to Z Sports, tons of comments, no surprise, which is awesome on the chat. We'll get to those here in a second. But A to Z Sports is powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. After the show, get out your phone, download the app in the Apple or Android store. Use that bonus code ATOZ Sports. New users get a risk-free, and this is the best part, you get up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet misses. That is new users at BetMGM. Want to get to some super chats here really quickly before we get all of the questions answered. And let's start with, let's see, Elks. He's all the way from Rome. Here's a little $2, I don't know, espresso right
That's
there.
Big Ten Jeff on his YouTube account.
Yeah, it is Big Ten Jeff. It's his burner account. Well, he's overseas, right? So there's a little justification. He can't be on his regular account. This is his burner. He says, what's up from Rome, Italy? So what's going on there, Big Ten Jeff? Ryan says Levis needs to be the starter this year since he doesn't have a fifth-year option. That is a whole nother topic that we will dive into on what the Titans should do with him. Noah says it was about potential. His ceiling is really a Josh Allen type. His comp is Ryan Tannehill, so you don't have to change much. The reason he wasn't a first is his floor is low. Good value pick, as Ran said, in the second round. That's from Noah. Andre says the move up costs the Titans a chance to get a lot of good wide receivers, and there's an expense there. Then the Titans go broken running back in the third, and we'll talk more about the draft later this week. Hope it's worth it. Surprised Mingo went 39. Andre, I also was surprised that Mingo went to the Panthers at 39 as well. And Kane comes in there and says, with the first pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans select, if not first, there'll be something top five. And I think Kane also brings up something that I was talking to Jake and a few other people of what happens to the Titans this year if that is also a conversation for another day. So tons of topics. Yeah. This is the best part. The draft opens up the barn door, right? And we got a lot of time to dive into that. But also, I'll send you back to the chat for our question, in or out.
Yeah, again, Lemanuel also says if Lever reaches Tannehill's max, the 1920 season by the end of his rookie contract, we consider that a success of a pick. Now, look, we'll have to get to that as well. A lot of super chats coming in, so I wanted to get those out of the way. Kennan says in. Pistol Ramsey says in. He might prove us GMs wrong. Sonia says in. Carlos says in for the future. Curtis says out on Jake Locker, number 2. Max says in. Tiffany says in. Jose says in. Ran deserves the benefit of the doubt. Titans Kyle says in based on the risk/reward of only a 3rd round given up. Now, the thought of moving from 72 back to 81 in the 3rd round could have potentially cost the Titans some wide receivers, and we'll talk about that later in the week, just like Zach mentioned. Roger says in all the way. Lucas says in, got to support the team until the wheels fall off. Shamwow says was out before Stroud was drafted, but thought he could pan essentially with that competitive fire. Let's see. Tony says in. Big Blue Nation, baby. So we got some Kentucky fans that maybe some more converts from Kentucky being Titans fans. Mr. Wrong says in. You're not getting Caleb Williams next year. Michael Billington says he's in. Only can support the kid. You can't change it if you're out on him. Paulie D says in for 2024 and the 3rd round pick value there. So a lot of ins, Zach. John Mike says out. I'm seeing way more ins than outs. I don't know if that's just a section that I found in the chat because the chat is absolutely loaded. Are you kind of seeing the same that most were in and less outs?
I felt like when the pick first happened, I saw on Twitter, which is not the Bible or gospel, right? So
real life.
Or real life, right? But I think a lot of people treat it like that. I felt like it was more out, but that's a negative social media
right?
medium.
Yeah, I think immediate reaction, when you have 48 hours plus to kind of think over it, you hear from Will Levis, you hear from Ran Carthon and Vrabel on why, then you can have the ability. I think it's fair to give people the ability to change their opinion on a draft pick from the immediate reaction to the next week.
And there are still some outs, like, Colin is way out. SC Dub is out as can be from Clayton. Chris is out. David is out. Chris is out. Mark D is out. Kane is out. I mean, I'm scrolling there. Ryan is out. So I think it's closer than we think to 50-50, but I still think it's probably 60-40 or somewhere around there, give or take, just in, the litmus test of what we have in the chat and we have available.
Yeah.
Here is where I reside. I am in for how things went down. And I think I'm in because I understand the mindset of the Titans brass. And this is important, so listen up. The Titans mindset and the way Ran has spoken, the way Mike Vrabel acts, is very different than, let's say, how the Houston Texans have played the last couple of years, right? They've kind of set their chips aside and said, we're going to be bad for a couple of years. We are going to rebuild. We are what we are, and we are going to go all in, and they did, starting in this year's draft, right? The Titans are not like that. We've heard Rand saying, it's unusual for this franchise to be picking this high, and I don't expect to be picking this high ever again. Mike Vrabel, as we all know, hates to lose. So what they did is their mindset is they're not going to be able to draft Caleb Williams. They're not going to be in that position. That's how they think. So when they also know that Ryan Tannehill is in the last year of his deal. And they also realize, which is good, this is some self-awareness, that they need a quarterback for the future. When Will Levis dropped, they did 2 things. First of all, they gave whoever the hell is going to be quarterbacking this team protection with their 1st round pick, which I valued, and we'll talk about what we think about that pick. But I'll just go ahead and sprinkle a little thing. I love that pick. That is a damn good pick for what they did. So what happened? They looked at their board. They rolled the dice because the draft is a draft, right? You don't know what kind of player you're going to get. And they sat there and said, here is a guy that they valued, that they've interviewed, that they like, that they think that they can groom and develop. And all of a sudden, they didn't get him in the first round. They felt like another team was going to take him at the top of the second round, and they drafted a guy that they can develop. That's why I'm in on this pick.
All right.
Will Levis is a developmental quarterback, and if they develop him properly, I believe he can have a very high ceiling. If they do not, and this will be up to the team, then obviously it's not going to work out. But I like the concept, conceptually, what the Titans did in the first 2 rounds that include drafting Will Levis 33rd overall.
Okay, so Zach is in on it. And I think a lot of people are in with what Zach just said. You know, people saying that Zach's preaching, people saying that Zach's on point with that. So, look, I agree with a lot of what you said there, Zach. Scott saying, Zach, you're making a lot of great sense of this take. Then there's, you know, there's people that are going to be out on Will Levis. And, I mentioned that it's fair to have and change your opinion on a draft pick the day after or so after you think about the draft pick. So I'll tell you if I am in or out on Will Levis as a Titans quarterback as the 33rd overall pick here in a second. But Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan in 2022. I also have a health plan in 2023. And let me tell you, it's Farm Bureau Health Plans. I rolled that bad boy over because it gives me great coverage. It saves me money, health, dental, vision. I get allowance on my contact lenses. I'm in the state of Tennessee, so you get 200 plus locations that you can go to. If you've watched this show, you know how I work. I ask a ton of questions, and they were able to answer all of them. They made me feel comfortable, and I realized that was the right plan for me. It can be the right plan for you and your family. You've just got to go find out. You can give them a call or go online at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
All right, hoops playoffs and hockey playoffs keep rolling. You can win big with BetMGM and our first bet offer code ATOZ Sports. So download and sign up with the BetMGM app with our bonus code ATOZ Sports. You make your first deposit and your first bet. If you miss it, don't worry. You get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. That's with code ATOZ Sports when you download and sign up for the BetMGM app. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued at non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expired 7 days. And for problem game sport, call Tennessee Red Light 800-889-9789. So asking the question and reacting, are you in or out on the Titans drafting Will Levis 33rd overall? I said it's fair to change your opinion on a draft pick after you sleep on it. Am I flip-flopping? No, I'm not flip-flopping. I'm still out on Will Levis being the Titans 33rd overall pick as a quarterback. And again, this is not anything personal towards Will Levis. So Ryan Fields and, Titanium, who are Kentucky fans and Titans fans together. This is not about Kentucky football. This is not about Will Levis as a human being. This is not about him not beating out Sean Clifford at Penn State and having to transfer. This is I just don't think he's got the high enough ceiling or the ability to reach that ceiling as an NFL quarterback. I think he's a bad decision maker. I think he takes risks and he comes up short in big moments. Like there's a reason why, Kentucky should have been a lot better than they were last year. And did his injuries play a factor in that? Yeah, I'm sure they did. But still, I watched so many
What about
times.
surrounding pieces too?
Yeah, and Mike Vrabel was carrying that water for Will Levis on Friday night too, which I was kind of surprised to see when he brought that up. But I feel like I watched too many times Will Levis playing not just last year, but the last 2 years at Kentucky, where he had an opportunity to help Kentucky elevate their program, and he came up short doing it. And timely turnovers, and I do like the fact that the Titans made him present all of his turnovers the last 2 years and say why it happened and what he would do to fix them, because that needs to change because he threw 23 picks over his last, 25, 26 games as a starting quarterback at Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky won 10 games his junior year, but 5 of them were against the school of the blind. And so, again, I am still out on Will Levis. I just don't think he has the ability to reach a ceiling to be an above average quarterback at the NFL level. And so here's my real feel, Zach, because we heard Ran Carthon mention, he was asked the question, you didn't take Will Levis at 11. You trade up in the second round to get him at 33. And Ran Carthon asked and said that was, there was value to it, right? There was value. Zach, I don't want any NFL team to draft a quarterback that they think is their future because it was good value. I don't think that's the right way to go about your quarterback. And here's what I really think. I think the Titans have at least, at minimum, a sliver of doubt about Will Levis. At the very minimum, a sliver of doubt about Will Levis, because if they didn't have that sliver of doubt, they would have taken him at 11. Because if you think that guy's your guy, you don't just say, let's roll the dice and gamble that maybe we miss out on him. If you love him that much, if you truly believe in Will Levis as your future, then he would have been the pick Thursday night at 11 overall. You wouldn't have been like, well, let's just see what happens on Friday and maybe we can put it up there and go trade.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that because there was rumors and reports that they wanted to trade back into the first round to go get him. So that goes against what you said. And if they valued Skoronski higher than Will Levis, Austin, Will Levis is a developmental quarterback. He needs to be developed. He should not justify the 11th overall pick. You could question that Anthony Richardson could justify the 4th overall pick because he is a developmental quarterback. Now, we all believe that Anthony Richardson, based on the attributes and size and physical ability, all of that, he has a higher ceiling with that. But this is why the Titans did it. They could have, and this is what I believe, if they would have gone the CJ Stroud route and somehow figured out to draft a number 3 overall, CJ Stroud, I don't think Ryan Tannehill is a part of this franchise in 2023. But Will Levis needs Ryan Tannehill a part of this franchise in 2023. And I think it serves a purpose on why they drafted him, when they drafted him, and what pieces they have. Austin, the Tennessee Titans believe that they will not be picking 11th overall or 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the future. They believe that they won't be in this position anymore to draft a quarterback.
But they did it in the second round, Zach. So is that
because
still
there
relevant?
I'll ask you this. Was there value in the Will Levis pick?
I mean, yeah, there was. So
they're
better,
not lying to you.
But there was better value. No, I know, I understand. But also, like Ran Carthon did say in his answer, they didn't expect Peter Skoronski to be there at 11, so they took him. And if they didn't take Peter at 11, then Will Levis would have been, quote, in the conversation. So what Ran Carthon should have said is Peter was there. That surprised the hell of us. So we took Peter Skoronski at 11 because we think that was the right pick and we didn't think he was going to be there. If Peter wasn't there, then we were going to take Will Levis at 11. That is the conviction that Ran Carthon should have said.
He doesn't have to say that.
But the fact that he just said that he would have been in the conversation.
That's how you draft.
But you've already drafted.
So you're deciding between a number of players when you are officially on the clock.
So again, I still think that there's, Ran Carthon is learning on the job, right? You have to as an NFL GM. After you make a draft pick, you have to then go and sell that draft pick to the media, to the fan base, because the media is going to tell them, the fan base, what they think. The fan base is going to have their own opinions. And if you draft a quarterback, then you really got to sell it. If Ran Carthon wanted to sell this thing, then he should have said, man, we were surprised Peter was there. We couldn't pass on Peter. We took him at 11. If Peter wasn't there, our plan was Will Levis at 11. If he would have said that, then maybe I would have believed more. But if they think that Will Levis is the future, passing on him at 11 and allowing for the potential for him to get away is not a good
Austin, he's a developmental quarterback. It would be unfair for them to stand up with their chest out and say, we knew that Will Levis was the guy all along. He's going to be the future of our franchise. He's the guy. They don't believe that. They believe that he needs to be developed into that. Now, they believe that they have the pieces, the coaches, the staff, and the mindset to do that. But, Austin, you listen to Ran and Mike Vrabel. They don't give a damn what you think, what I think, what the media thinks, the perception. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Oh, sure.
They don't care. So you can't judge them based on what they don't care about. That's Rand's job.
But I
feel like that is what he has brought to the table is I'm going to do what I believe is right, regardless on if any media members, and look, they made some mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and blow roses up there. You know what? They made some mistakes over the weekend that I will be fair to criticize all week, and we'll bring those up. But I believe that the Will Levis selection makes logical sense. A developmental quarterback after they had gotten their offensive lineman that they desperately needed, they took their quarterback that they have the pieces to develop so he doesn't have to start right away.
All right, so I see Chi says Austin is right, and then I see Pistol giving Zach some applause. I see Brad saying Zach is on point here. Devin's questioning, so don't judge them based on their decisions, and I'm judging them based on their decisions and their justification of their decisions. Right? That's how I feel. So let's just get to the chat more and hear more reaction. I think, and this is my true opinion, I thought this Friday night after the pick was made. I thought this Saturday when I woke up. I thought this Sunday when I woke up. And I thought this right now as I said it. The Titans have a sliver of doubt on Will Levis because if they didn't have that sliver, they would have taken him at 11th overall because he's a quarterback.
They do. You're right.
So let's more reactions here in the chat. But first, let me tell everybody about our great sponsor, Aura. They are all about keeping you safe online. Aura, after I downloaded and signed up for the app with Aura, they found 30 data brokers who had my information, and they removed my info from 29 of those 30. Data brokers profit by selling your info to robocallers, telemarketers, spammers, and anyone else that wants to learn anything about you. Our sponsor, Aura, will identify those data brokers who are exposing you and automatically submit those opt-out requests on your behalf, even junk mail and telemarketing lists. Aura has every internet safety tool you'll ever need all in one app: VPN, password manager, credit and identity theft monitoring. And let Aura do the hard work for you by keeping you safe online with our link here. Aura.com/ATOZ. That's Aura.com/ATOZ. I'm posting it in the chat right there because if you sign up with that link that I just posted, 2 free weeks with Aura to remove those data brokers from your from the internet. So check them out right there, Aura.com/ATOZ.
A to Z Sports were powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. Get up to $1,000 in bonus bets back if your first bet misses for new users. So use that bonus code ATOZ Sports and download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so I say the Titans have a sliver of doubt about Will Levis because if they didn't, they would have picked him at 11. Chris says the Titans trading up and trying to trade in the first contradicts what Austin's saying. I don't think it does.
Why?
Because
they didn't have a trade partner. If you try to do something, it doesn't mean that you don't believe in the guy. I mean, that actually justifies it.
No, it's not about trading up in the second or trying to trade up in the first. It's about not taking him when you had him on the board.
Would you feel differently about it if they traded up in the first round, the bottom of the first round, and actually successfully found a partner?
I would think it would have been smarter to do that because of the 5th-year option.
They
right?
tried.
I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that. I am doubting the fact that they had him on the board at 11 and they didn't take him there.
He's not worth 11. 32 teams told us that he's not worth 11.
31.
Miami wouldn't have taken him. So 32. I'm going to say that.
No,
but that tells you something, Austin. You're not saying anything. You're saying it like it's like this baffling thing that the Titans don't believe in him. 32 other teams didn't believe in him.
All right. So
and really the Steelers, so it is 32 in that sense. But for the Titans, Will Levis is a developmental quarterback. Will it work out? Who effing knows? We don't know. The Titans don't know, but the Titans believe that they have the pieces to develop him.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the comment I was looking for, but now I missed it. But yeah, no, again, I still think that
okay, here's I'm going to do this. I hate doing this. Is arguing against myself. Mm-hmm. But Austin, this is what you should be saying in your defense. You should be saying you don't find your franchise quarterback in the second round. That's what you should be
Oh,
arguing.
it's rare too. And I'd say that
it's very rare. We're going to play a trivia game tomorrow and talk about how rare it is. You should be arguing that, not the fact that they don't believe in him. Like they've told you that they believe in him based on trying to trade up in the first round, then trading up in front of the Rams that were rumored to take him at the top of the second with their pick. So they traded up to justify that. That's telling you that they believe in him.
No, but not taking him again. And
he's not 11. He's not worth 11.
So yeah, is any franchise quarterback worth 11?
Patrick Mahomes is not 11 overall pick. He worked out pretty well.
It was 10th.
You know, Josh Allen. I mean, there have been many
Josh
quarterbacks.
Allen was 7th.
There's been many quarterbacks.
If you want to keep naming
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, boom.
Oh,
there you
24.
go. There's plenty of quarterbacks that have been taken after 11 that have worked out.
I'm going to play your game. What iPhone was out when Aaron Rodgers was selected 24th overall?
There's still quarterbacks that work that have been drafted in or around that. I mean, it doesn't matter. They targeted an offensive lineman in which they desperately need. Austin, the Titans are trying to win this year. That's what they're telling us. They're not trying to play the Texans game. They're not trying to play the lose and we'll see what happens game. They are trying to consistently win. They are trying to never lose. That's Mike Vrabel.
I know that.
So taking Skoronski justifies taking that offensive lineman at 11 instead of your quarterback that is a developmental quarterback.
Real quick, because this is just funny, because John says, oh, Tom Brady's the perfect example. Tom Brady cannot be involved in this
I didn't
conversation.
say that.
So. No, I know you did. But like, there are quarterbacks taken outside the top 11 picks that have been successful, right? There are quarterbacks taken outside, there are undrafted quarterbacks that have done some things.
So that's the point I'm trying to prove.
But Zach, again, I think franchise quarterbacks are worth taking at 11th overall. And the Titans didn't do that. They had the opportunity to take Will Levis at 11. They didn't. If Ran Carthon took him at 11, then I would at least understand and get the process behind there.
He's developmental, dude.
I know.
I don't think you do understand.
I do.
That's why you don't take him at 11.
And it's more important to take a developmental player in the first round because you get an extra year of control. And I know they tried.
But they
didn't take him at 11.
Like they tried to do all the things that you're saying that they didn't do.
Except they did not try to take him at 11 because they said it was easy to take Peter Skoronski at 11.
And you know what? It worked out a lot better.
All right, real quick. More super chats right here. I'm going to get to, Nathaniel says, if Tannehill is gone post June 1st, should the Titans trade a release based on timing for another players? We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah,
right?
I want to say, that completely changes. I strongly believe that will not happen. I will say that right now, and I will put that on record May 1st at 8:55 a.m. That will not happen.
All right. Ed says, what quarterback happily ever developed? I don't really understand that, but it's super chats. I had to read it. Ryan says he was basically a first round pick. 33rd overall is different versus late second round pick. And
I think Ryan brings up a good point. You could probably justify it as he's about as damn near close as a first round pick as you can get, especially since they tried to do it.
Yeah, here's a weird coinky dink. Ran Carthon and John Robinson. What do they have in common? They drafted a Big Ten offensive lineman with their first ever pick as a GM, and then they drafted somebody at 33 overall. Let's hope Will Levis works out better than John Robinson's 33rd overall pick, which was Kevin Dodd. Philip says, big here by Philip with some jackpot bucks. He says, I'm out on Levis because I don't trust Vrabel anymore. He's all in to prove to fans and media that he can win a Super Bowl his way. He trolls fans on purpose, not taking a wide receiver. Vrabel will mold Levis into Ryan Tannehill 2.0 instead of Josh Allen out of spite. So that could really carry its own show with what Philip had to say there. And then Nav says value pick for developmental quarterback every year. Where's the value in that? And again, I've said a lot of things about Will Levis already because Sam, Jack, and I on Friday night talked for an hour after the pick was made about it. And so I do think, and it's Ran Carthon is trying to clean up a lot of John Robinson's mess, and that includes Malik Willis. And so now that you have two quarterbacks that were taken the second and third round in back-to-back years, it bogs down your roster because you'd rather have a non-quarterback with one of those two picks that's going to help you out on Sundays and on game days. And the chances are either Will Levis or Malik Willis or both will not help you on Sundays this fall, right?
Yeah, because they need to be developed.
Right. But now you've got two of them.
But I think that's where the Titans truly believe in their heart of hearts that they can do that. And if it works, Austin, like we all know what happens if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, they're going to be drafted high in the first round, and then they're probably going to take a quarterback and try it again. Like that would be the worst
I've got
case
so many opinions, and we just have it's like we don't have enough time today to get to everything, but this week's going to be amazing. Honestly.
But if Will Levis is developed the right way, and I don't know what opportunity he will get this year. We'll find out in training camp. We'll find out the beginning of the season. But if Will Levis does end up working out, that is huge for the structure of the Titans and what they can do for a number of years. I know it's not 5 years, but 4 years that they will have Will Levis. And really probably, I presume that it's truly 3 years because he'll sit this year and then get an opportunity possibly next year to start. But if it works, now you can start because you got to replace Derrick Henry. You got to start drafting wide receivers, which we'll talk about at another point. But it all goes back, and this is where I started the conversation this morning with my take. Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel are not trying to rebuild. They are trying to win. I think we still kept the graphic. I hope we still kept. Yeah, we did. We have our answer, right? They're not rebuilding. They're not retooling. They are resetting to a degree because they want to win.
I think they're resetting to rebuild. They're resetting to make a rebuild easier, right?
And is it that's
look, we can revisit
logical.
that conversation this week too. I don't even know if we have enough days in the week to have all the different conversations that we want to have.
But so to wrap a bow on that, our big spot of in or out. Do you believe I know you're out on the pick? I'm in on the pick. I think a whole nother conversation is what do we think Will Levis can be, right? Where like that, I think is what the Titans had to decide.
Yeah, for sure. Another super chat here real quick. Franco says, which QBs are coming into the draft next year to keep an eye out in case these two don't work out? Again, we got a whole year to talk about 2024 draft quarterbacks. Franco, calm down, bro.
Franco did what I did. I was talking to Jake in Kansas City, our Jake Evans, our social media growth manager, and we're walking after, and our heads are spinning like what just happened, just trying to diagnose it. And I turned to Jake and I was like, what are the Titans going to do if they're the worst team in the league and they're picking number 1 overall?
Trade it.
Will Levis hasn't played a snap.
Right. Because now you're screwed because you have an opportunity for Caleb Williams, or you can go trade it for a bunch, right?
And so this is what I said. I said, you essentially gave up a 3rd round pick for Will Levis, right?
Yeah.
I mean, give or take some spots in the rounds, but you don't have a 3rd round pick next year. You try to get that 3rd round pick back and you draft Caleb Williams. That's what I do if I'm the Titans, if they're, picking 1st overall and they're the worst team in the league. That's what you have to do. You don't pass on Caleb Williams. Unfortunately, you draft a quarterback in the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st round in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
But and then I said, it kind of makes you want to go to like the Madden simulations. Like what's going to happen? Just fast forward, but like this year, play it out and let's see where the Titans select in 2024.
Right. Well, here's the interesting thing. The Titans have a 1st round, a 2nd round pick next year. They do not have a 3rd round because they traded it with Will Levis. They have a 4th, but they currently do not have a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick next year. They have 2 7th. So look, it's going to be interesting to see how they put all that together. And then now people are talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. We're already getting way ahead of ourselves on this. Let's see. Noah says last Jackpot Bucks or last Sam Lunch Money in the super chat. O-line was a bigger need than QB. Worst case, you extend Tannehill if Levis isn't there. I think Noah's, not completely off with the thoughts overall.
Tannehill is still under contract for the next 3 years. They're just voidable years. That's it's the structure of the actual contract. Yeah. He's got, we say, which is kind of true, but it's actually false, that he has 1 year left to go on his deal. He actually has 3, but the last 2 are avoidable. So that's where they would take that opportunity. I think that they will avoid him and move on from him. Unless, Austin, if Ryan Tannehill, by the grace of God, somehow leads the Titans to the AFC Championship game, just like he did in 2019, you got a whole new situation on your hands. You know, if Tannehill plays really, really well, I don't think he has the weapons to do that, but
God,
it's a thing.
Yeah, man. You go read Sam Phelan's article at A2ZSports.com about that last comment that you made there. Kane, regression. That's what they're doing. All right, Zach, let's go ahead. You said we got a Will Levis themed Ask Me Anything on this Monday. I'm curious about it, but before you get to that, tell us about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. Quick trip down I-40, exit 236. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Check out their inventory, including the all-new 2023 Palisade. It has got a sleek new look, too, right? It's got a new grille. So go check that out. It is a family car. It's got all the bells and whistles, third-row seating. I mean, it is sleek. That's the 2023 Palisade. They also have the Sonata, the Elantra, the Tucson, the Santa Fe. Their fleet of vehicles are your fleet of vehicles, and you can find your perfect make and model at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
And with BetMGM, win big with our first bet offer bonus code ATOZ Sports. So you sign up with the BetMGM app after you download it, plug in that bonus code ATOZ Sports, make your first deposit, and then if you miss out on your first bet, no worries, because you get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. Here to wrap up this Monday with a Monday Ask Me Anything. I do like the fact that the Titans drafted, with our sponsor, Wilson County Hyundai, they drafted a Wilson County kid in Colton Dowell. We'll talk more about the receiver position later on in the week. But, Zach, what do you have for this Will Levis edition of Monday Ask Me Anything?
All right. So I think we also learned a little bit about Will Levis over the weekend. I don't know if this is backpedaling or maybe immaturity or whatever, but they asked him about 2 things, right? Mayonnaise in his coffee. That was a thing. And he downplayed it and said, hey, it was just a stupid, riff. It was a joke. I did it once. I usually take cream and sugar, right? So he kind of backtracked on that. They also asked him, do you eat bananas with the peel? Because you've seen that video. He did that. He also backtracked that and was like, it's just, we do a lot of stupid things when we're 20 something. So I can't, I actually appreciate him realizing it, but you're now a grown ass man with a grown ass job, and you could be the face of a franchise if you play this thing right. But my question, and Austin, this is really, I get to know you and the chat a lot better if you would get along with me a lot better based on the answer of this question.
Okay.
Are you pro or anti mayonnaise? Are you a mayonnaise guy or are you anti mayonnaise? Some people are mustard people, but if you order mayonnaise on your sandwich, you're pro mayonnaise. That's my opinion. If you don't, I think you're anti mayonnaise. So let's see what the A to Z Sports faithful has to say. And I'm going to be judging. I just got to be honest.
Like, I also want to say this. I don't think anybody is pro spoonfuls of mayonnaise.
No, it's not. It's
right?
on sandwiches. It is, I don't know, as a utility condiment. So I'll let you go to the chat and see what they say.
All right, because immediately in the chat, as Zach asked you pro or anti mayonnaise, you got Michael coming in with anti, Curtis anti, Orlando says anti,
there we go.
Noah anti, Andrew, Adam, all anti, Billy anti, Karen's our first pro. All right, then goes brand loyal with Dukes. And then Jeff,
some people, that's second level.
Big Ten Jeff says anti, Gino's anti, Run Left says definitely pro mayo, anti from Titanium Titan, Kentucky fan who's excited about Will Levis, I'm sure. Eric is pro mayo, not Miracle Whip. Pro. Now here comes our run on pro, right? We got pros flying in all over the place as that. But I do think as I just scroll through, I think, man, it's actually a lot closer.
Are we an anti-mayo show? Please.
I can't. It's Man, it's like really split because it went in streaks. It was very a spurty pull there back and forth. I know what you feel about this. I guess by your technicalities and by your parameters you put on it, I am pro mayo.
Yeah.
But again, I don't eat mayo as much as I maybe used to. I don't eat like sandwiches as much as I used to. And so I am pro mayo because I will eat mayonnaise on a sandwich. I think there are some sandwiches that are very good with that light spread of mayo on a toasted bread. So I am technically pro mayo.
I'm the biggest anti-mayo person you're probably going to meet. Denise asked, mayo, do y'all not like chicken salad? Nope. Tuna salad? Nope. Egg salad? Nope. Don't like any of that crap. It's nasty. And anything, I didn't eat ranch for a period of time because it was too close to mayo, even though it doesn't have mayonnaise in it. So I'm anti-mayo, and I feel like our chat is anti-mayo. So I think it's close, but it's a condiment, right? It's a universal condiment.
Yeah,
So
all right then says anti-mayo means anti-ranch and anti-honey mustard.
no,
What
I'm pro honey mustard.
Well, I was like, what is honey mustard made out of? I'm looking at
And Tress says, it sounds like a personal problem. Absolutely, it's a personal problem. It is my personal problem. But if I order a sandwich, I confirm with the person I'm ordering that it doesn't have mayo. And if it does, I'm sending that MFer back. There's no way that I'm keeping it. So that's where Will Levis and I was in on Will Levis today, but the fact of his affinity for mayo, it was a struggle.
I just went to a quick, Google of, honey mustard recipe, and there's different versions, right? But honey mustard has mayo in it.
Honey mustard does not. It's mustard and honey. Wrong.
And mayo.
No.
I mean, ingredients you'll need for this honey mustard recipe.
This
mayo.
honey mustard. Yeah, some
but
pro mayo weirdo. That's the problem. The recipe that you're reading is some pro mayo freak that put the recipe up there. Honey mustard's simple.
I mean, Zach, I'm scrolling through. I see the first 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like the first 10 Google results have mayo in it for honey mustard. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but honey mustard's got mayo.
That's Dijon.
No, Dijon mustard.
They've
No, honey mustard includes mayo, Dijon mustard, some cayenne pepper, and some vinegar. That is what the honey mustard recipe is. I'm sorry, bro, but honey mustard's got mayo in it. And so I don't know if you're going to exclude honey mustard from
then I may be out on honey mustard.
Well, you've been in on it this whole time.
Well, look, I stand my ground.
I'm just saying. Honey mustard's got mayo in it.
Tomfoolery is this? Now, here
you feel duped?
I did get duped. I will say I have eaten. There is a select. Yeah, my life is a lie. There is a select, and I think it's only one thing that I eat with mayonnaise in it knowingly. So now there's 2 things that I eat knowingly because I did not know that honey mustard had mayonnaise in it.
What's the other one? Deviled eggs or something?
No, I hate deviled eggs.
Oh, love deviled eggs. Give me the whole tray.
Ugh. It's like I think of Ace Ventura eating those deviled eggs. I openly do eat spinach artichoke dip, and I know that has mayonnaise in it. So now I've got 2 things on my list. But what you don't know, is what you don't know. So now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a long, hard look in the mirror about my honey mustard affinity.
Rodney says Zach is a low-key mayo.
Don't say that, Rodney.
And,
don't put that.
Devin
Don't
says,
put that on me.
Zach, you mayo-loving weirdo.
Don't. The chat has turned. Chat, I thought we had something there, chat. And now
I can see this. I can see into the future. The next time Zach goes to get a sandwich and he goes, any sauces, honey mustard, and then in your brain, you're going to spin the wheels and rethink that honey mustard. And the first time that pops up, you're going to say, never mind, no honey mustard. I know
go spicy mustard.
Yeah, you're going to audible away from honey mustard the next opportunity you get.
God, blessed. This Ask Me Anything kind of, it's going to take
You played yourself.
reassessment. Yeah, I played myself.
Play stupid games, eat mayo. Zach Bingham.
Idiot. Stupid.
Oh, man. Perfect way to wrap up this Monday show. Guys and gals, this week is going to be on fire. We've got so many topics to talk about. Ran Carthon already has fresh comments this morning on his NFL draft. You can read some of those later on today at A2ZSports.com, and I'm sure we'll be talking about some of them tomorrow morning. Buck Rising will be live tonight for prime time to get more of his reaction, but make sure you like the show before you go. So many people are watching the show who have yet to hit the thumbs up button. So hit that thumbs up button. Give us a like on YouTube, on Facebook. We greatly appreciate that. That just helps us out, helps grow our audience, and helps you have more friends of the show. So appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate it as always.
Adios.